everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on issue 13 of Sonic the Hedgehog IDW Comic Review. Now, as you know, the IDW comic series of Sonic the Hedgehog is meant to take place after Sonic Forces, where we see how Sonic and the others are dealing with new foes, new villains, and same old, same old. And the cover has this sort of game-like screen with Sonic and Tails taking on Rough and Tumble. And let's get on the story. It picks up after Eggman's next plan. We see how Sonic talks to a young bird saying, "Hey there, taking a rest? That's pretty cool. Much what I am doing too." And points out how Amy is sort of helping to rebuild everything that happened during Sonic Forces. We see Knuckles still guarding the Master Emerald on Angel Island. We see how Silver is finding about the possible future that could happen. And Tails still at his workshop. And we see how Sonic is displeased that everything's back to normal and that nothing's gone wrong. And Tails says, "Sonic, I think something's wrong." Jinxed it. And so he sees the no, and they think that Eggman's back. So of course Sonic is worried that did he recover his memory or was it a ruse? And knows they have to go in to sort of find out what happened at the village. We see how Eggman is working on his next plan, with Dr. Sterling saying, "Sonic has been baited as per your instructions, Doctor." Ha ha ha! Excellent! Did we have to be overdraft? An ambush alone would have been significant. You said we should mess with his head. Knowing I'm back and up to something will do just that. And so of course they end up using their next plan, a metal liquid that can turn things into metal. So of course they decide to go with animal test subjects. We see how Sonic and Tails head to the village, nothing's bad happened, and as soon as they get there, they see the village elder tied up and bangled, and points out that they did try to find him about a week ago after what happened with Mr. Tinker when he got kidnapped. And of course, they find out that Rough and Tumbles was the one that took this town hostage and says, "Prepare to get wrecked. Prepare to get pummeled. It's payback time for Rough and Tumble." So of course Sonic has dealt with them before back in issue 4, and knows that their tech isn't what they're supposed to be, but tries to take them on. And of course manages to take down Rough and Tumbles' weaponry, but knows something isn't adding up, as they're not smart enough to have that kind of tech, and decides to find out what's going on. So we see them go, "If you can beat us, maybe we'll tattle. Don't bother with him. Crush him!" So of course we see Tails and the village elder getting everyone to safety, and Tails telling them to stay put. We see back at Eggman's lab, where he tests some of the liquid metal on a little rabbit, and as soon as it touches the pig, he finds out it can affect organic matter, and decides to bring more test subjects. And we see how Eggman dares a chipmunk to touch the flower, where he says, "There we go now. Touch the flower to each of those samples." So it tries a destroyed Eggman robot, a sandwich, and a rock. Nothing happens. But Eggman's pleased that it can affect organic matter, whatever it touches. So of course, we find out how Dr. Sterling did find Eggman by using the warp topaz, something metal lacked, and we find out he can use it to find where places are, and Eggman wanting to see Sonic get defeated. We see how Tails and Sonic are still dealing with Rough and Tumble. We see how Sonic and Tails make a joke about doing their pose, and they say, "That's our thing! Stop stealing our thing! Dibs on the rump! I won't lose my tail, but you get two! Huh? And so we see him using his tail, which implies he lost it a long time ago. We see how both Sonic and Tails take on a different member of Rough and Tumble. And we see how Tails throws one of Tumble's kind of liquids and throw it back at him. So of course Eggman isn't pleased with the result, but decides to go with the next plan. And of course we see how Rough tries to take on Sonic with the propeller destroying his robotic tail. And we see how he goes, "That's not fair! I had a tail again! I length that half. I had it all back!" So of course this is Sonic realizing, okay, and decides to let him surrender. And we see them asking them who are you working for and where's Mr. Tinker. But Rough and Tumble get sent back without them knowing, and know that there is more pieces going on. So Tails offers to stay at the village till Sonic can find out what to do. And Sonic knowing that he's going to find the pieces somehow. So of course we see how Rough and Tumble will say about giving them another chance, which he says that Metal Sonic's going to do it, which he says, "You've had your turn." And so we see Dr. Sterling taking over and wanting the turn instead. And this is the story. So in my opinion, issue 13 is okay. Again, it's throwing Rough and Tumble as the bulk and skull in this issue. And I think bringing them back sort of makes sense, but it's still a good story and a future of Eggman's plan. So I think this issue deserves a thumbs up. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.